All right, so we have our 4 sets of balls in, and something that you want to make sure you do is take a bird's eye view and make sure that the balls are straight, because when I first set mine up, the balls veered to the right, so I had to do some rotation to make sure that they all were straight. And so if you highlight all of them, you go to model, and then go to rotate, then you can rotate all of them. I think it's the green axis here, to whatever angle you want, right? So I went ahead and made it straight. And another thing is that you want to double check to make sure that the end of one set of balls is reachable to the beginning of another set of balls, right? So be sure to check all your angles and make sure it looks good, and also test it in game. The next thing that I want you to make sure of is go back and delete some of these balls, because there's so many balls that it's not very challenging to get from one end to the other end if you leave all of them, especially going downhill. Okay, so go back into the model and pick out the balls that you think are a little bit clustered too closely together, like this green one right there. That one needs to go, so I'm going to delete him, make him go away, to make it a little bit more challenging. Okay, and test it, play it, make sure it plays well. And what else? Okay, so we have these 4 models, but my 4 models are here in workspace. Okay, and this portion of the game I called level 2. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. Right click, insert object, folder. I'm going to rename the folder level _2, and I'm going to put all these balls in there. I'm actually going to call it level _2_1 and put all of these models into there. Okay, and what now? So the next thing that we want is I want this set of balls to be normal, meaning they're solid, they're anchored, they're sitting there in space. This set of balls also to be anchored, normal, nothing unusual happening. But this set of balls here, I want them to disappear after the player has stepped on them. So we need to program that, and you'll notice that to program that means we need to add a particular script to every single one of these balls. And the best way to do that would be to create a function in the modular script, right? So let's go back into modular script, come over to here, and let's add this this function. Okay, and what is this function? It's called removed object. It receives a part, and the part is going to be the ball. I could wait a little bit, set my can collide of the ball to false. That means the player can fall through it. And this for loop is going to be increasing the transparency until it gets to 1. And by the time the part's transparency gets to 1, that means it will be gone. Okay. All right. So you can go ahead and change these values up a little bit, but generally this is the way that your program should look. And let's go ahead and test it. And of course, I don't want to test it on this ball over here, because that means I need to navigate through my obby to get there. I want to test it right here on this gray one. So let's go and find it right there. I'll right click, insert object, insert a script, and the script that I want to insert is going to be something that looks like this. Okay, except for the function is going to be remove object. So I'm going to come here, replace the rise fall with remove object. But one thing that you need to remember is that we don't want to run remove object right away, right? When the game loads, it's going to load in all these parts, and it's going to run every script that's associated with a part. So it's going to run remove object on the ball immediately, right when the game plays. We don't want that. We want it to run if the player touches the ball. All right, so we're going to need to add a script to that, and that's going to be something that looks very much like this one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab that, go to our script, and add it to the end here, like that. Okay, let's go back, and go back. And this is going to happen only if the ball has been touched. So I'm going to come down here and say ball.touched connect, And in here, I'm going to say part, or maybe I can say it here. No, I'm sorry. This is going to be the name of the function that's going to run when the ball is touched, right? So I'm going to call it onTouch. Over here, I'm going to write my function onTouch. OnTouch has the touched part, and I'm going to tab all of that in, and I'm going to put end at the bottom. All right. Okay, so when something touches the ball, it's going to run this function. It's going to first check if the player is if the part that touched the ball was part of the character, part of the player. And if that's true, then I want to run remove object. Okay, so this is the way that it should look. And now let's go ahead and test it out. Alright, so this is the gray ball here. And jump on him. So works as described. Maybe you might want to come back into modular script and change this weight to 0.5, right? Give him a little bit more time. And so I just want to show you a little bug that's in the game. Let's go ahead and test it out and play. Now let's say I'm playing. I jump on the gray ball. He disappears, but I end up dying, right? So I'm going to start at that spawn location, the yellow one that's up there. But that gray ball is gone now, okay? I want that gray ball to be here. Like every time you die, I want the gray ball to come back, okay? And so how can we make that happen? Well, when we're over here in our modular script, what we can say is we can wait for, let's say, I don't know, maybe we could wait for 5 seconds, maybe even longer, like 7 seconds, right? And then we could bring back the transparency, and we could bring back the can collide. Okay, so we could do that, and we could do that. So my transparency is going to be equal to 0, meaning there's no transparency, and my can collide is going to be equal to true. So now let's try that again and see if it behaves the way that we want it to behave. So we jump on that guy, goes away, and the gray ball should be there now. No gray ball. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. So maybe that wait was a little bit too long, so we can go to modular script and wait for 5 seconds instead of wait for 7, and that will fix that little bug. Okay, so now that we know that that program or that script works for this ball, let's take it out of this ball, remove it from this ball, and let's add it to all of these balls here.